Liberals call us the party of big business, but then they continue to increase the burden and the complexity of taxes and regulations until only the big and the powerful and the wealthy and the well-connected can survive.
Very interesting. That was former Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fiorina speaking to the crowds in Iowa. Plenty of 2016 hopefuls were at the Freedom Summit last week. Fiorina spoke about her own personal story, how a young woman in America started as a secretary at a 9-person real estate business and then went on to become the chief executive of the largest technology company in the world. And Carly Fiorina joins me now. Good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Martha. Nice to be with you.
It's great to have you here. You know, I think those words really, they resonated clearly with the crowd. I rewatched the speech this morning in Iowa, and clearly you had a lot of rapt attention from the people in that crowd. And obviously you've had a ton of business experience, but you were speaking directly to small businesses across America who suffer and complain about suffering at onerous regulations.
Yes, in fact, 70% of small business owners describe government as hostile to them. We are now destroying more businesses than we are creating for the first time in U.S. history, which means more small businesses are failing and fewer are starting. And of course, that's devastating to our economy because small business creates 2/3 of the new jobs. They employ half the people. They innovate at 7 times the rate of big businesses. This is one of the reasons our economy continues to underperform.
You know, but I feel like there are so many people in Washington who have never worked in businesses in America that this is, you know, you're touching on something, and you're a CEO, and that's what you're known for primarily, but you are also talking about something that is just not getting a lot of attention in Washington, but is clearly something that is on the minds of many people in this country.
Well, it is because they see it in their main streets. They see it in their own communities. And Washington, frankly, under both Republicans and Democrats, Washington has become a place of big government, big business, and big labor. But it's not working for the majority of folks. And I think what I also touched on in the speech is we have so many people now trapped in a tangled web of dependence, and they cannot get out. And what I know is that every person wants to live a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. And so we're at a point now where the weight of our government, honestly, is crushing the hopes and the dreams and the promise of lots of people in America and lots of business owners.
All right, but well, you know, the other side of that coin is people would say, yeah, but, you know, people who are receiving what the government is handing out will never elect someone who threatens to take any of that away from anybody.
See, I think that's so disrespectful and dismissive of those people. You know, if you look at the kind of economic choice that a single mom with 2 kids who is trapped in that web of dependence, if you look at the choices she has to make to get herself out, it's terrible. It's a difficult set of choices most people wouldn't want to make. And that's why we have to fundamentally reform government to slash through not just the taxes, not just the regulations, but this web of dependence that prevents people from living a life of dignity and purpose and meaning.
So how good, if you decide to run, and I understand that you're going to make that decision over the next few months, if you decide to run, how do you sort of stand out? You know, when you look at the numbers right now, you're kind of lower on the list of the polls, which I don't think has a whole lot of meaning at this stage of the game. But how will you break out?
Well, you know, first of all, I would say that most people don't know me, actually. I haven't been in politics my whole life. I actually think many people view that as an advantage, but it means that I need to spend a lot of time getting out and about. I've done a lot of that, and I need to continue. I think the other thing that I know and that I will continue to communicate is I'm a conservative because I think our values and our principles and our policies work better to unlock potential of every American and every person. And I think we have to land those policies and those principles and those values in people's lives. If you're that single mom, you don't know, unless we explain it, why smaller government and less taxation is actually good for you.
All right. Well, we hope we can talk to you again soon.
I look forward to that,
pursue
Martha.
some of these. It's good to see you, Carly Fiorina. Thank you for coming on.